Welcome back to Solving Linear Equations. We're going to talk about how to figure out the number of solutions when you're solving algebraically. So this is objective number 3. So whenever we're solving a problem and we get a solution like x equals 5 or y equals negative 2 over 3, so basically every problem we've done in objective number 1 and 2, we've gotten an answer like that. That means we've found the one value that makes the equation true. So if we were solving an equation and we got x equals 5, we know x equals 5 makes it true. So that's an example of an equation that has one solution. So if you have a problem and you're solving, for example, if we have like x plus 2 equals 6, well, we know if we subtract 2 on both sides, we'll have x equals 4. And that's an example of a problem that has only one solution. We know that because we ended up with x equals 4 at the end. There's two other solutions that can happen, two other situations that can happen when we're solving equations. One's called no solutions and one's called infinite solutions. So one solution means one value makes equation true. For no solution, that means there are no values that make the equation true. And for infinite solutions, that means that every number works, or every number makes the equation true. So let's kind of see, when we're solving, what will happen if we have no solution or infinite solution. So here's a good example. How many solutions does this have? We have 6x minus 5 plus 3x equals 4 plus 9x minus 2. To figure out how many solutions, we just solve normally. I'm going to draw my line down the middle, circle my variables. When I do that, I see, okay, I've got some like terms over here. 6x plus 3x, that becomes 9x. So we have 9x minus 5 over here. Over here I have 4. I can put together those like terms. 4 minus 2 becomes 2 plus 9x. All right, we'll move my variables to one side, so I'll subtract 9x on both sides. 9x minus 9x, those cancel out. On my left side, I just have negative 5. On the right side, I'll bring down that 2. 9x plus 9x, those cancel out. So wait a second. There's no number to write down for x. So if you're solving a problem and both of your variables cancel out, then you know you have either no solution or infinite solution. So if your variables cancel out, you either have infinite solution or no solution. What does this make you say to yourself? If I say negative 5 equals 2, what do you say to yourself? Well, that's false. That is an example of something that has no solution. So if you're solving and you get something that's not true, like negative 5 equals 2 or 0 equals 3, if you're solving and you get something that's not true, then you have no solution. So when I like to think to myself, if you're solving and you think to yourself no, then you have no solution. Well, what about if you're solving and you have infinite solution? What does that look like? Well, let's try a couple more examples. Which of these has infinite solutions? If I have 3x equals 4x, well, I've got x's on both sides, so I'm going to move them to one side. Subtract 3x on both sides. 3x minus 3x cancels out. Just have 0. 4x minus 3x becomes just x. So we have x equals 0. Well, x equals 0, that's an example of one solution. So that one's not infinite solutions. How about on this one? I've got 2x plus 4 equals 2 times x plus 2. I see a number on the outside, so I'm always going to distribute that first. I'll have 2x plus 4 equals 2x. So 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 2 is... Whoa, look at that. I have 2x plus 4 equals 2x plus 4. I'll tell you right away, this is an example of infinite solution. So if you see the same thing on both sides, then it's infinite solution. But if you didn't recognize that, and you kept going, you subtracted 2x on both sides, 2x and 2x would cancel out. We'd have just 4 equals. On this side, 2x and 2x would cancel out, 4. So if you're solving and you get something like 4 equals 4, both sides are true. This is an example of infinite solutions. So, infinite solutions. Every number is going to make it true. That means we have like 3 equals 3, or 2x equals 2x, or 0 equals 0. So our variables, if they cancel out, or if we see the same thing on both sides, it's always true. I'm just going to write in, same on both sides. One last problem you might encounter on this focus area is something like this. Fill in the blank to form a linear equation with infinitely many solutions. Well, if it has infinite solutions, then we should be thinking to ourselves, well, it has to be the same thing on both sides of the equation. It has to be exactly true. So if we look at this equation here, we can solve and kind of figure out, we have over here 5x minus 3 equals, over here I have 2x minus 3 plus 2x plus blank x. Well, if I put my 2x's together, that would be 4x minus 3 plus blank x. So if we want this equation to be the same on both sides, I have 5x minus 3 equals 4 minus 3 plus blank x. Well, the minus 3 is the same on both sides. So I just need these x's to be the same. This side is 5x, and this side is 4 plus blank x. If we need it to be 5x, then this would have to be 1. If this was 1, then we would have 5x minus 3 equals 5x minus 3. So for this problem, the blank equals 1. To check and make sure that you're feeling good, you should be able to write down 2 examples of equations that have no solutions. You should be able to describe what every equation that has no solutions has in common, and write 2 examples of some equations that have infinite solutions. After that, jump on in, do the check for understanding and a little bit of practice. See me if you have any questions.